Hey yo, it's Vondo. Today's topic of discussion is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Alpha. As usual, I am a couple days late to this, but fuck it. First, I'm going to talk about, this is something you will notice immediately, this is a mechanical downgrade from Modern Warfare. This comes from someone that didn't always like Modern Warfare or saw it as a favorable game, but this game is easily a mechanical downgrade from Modern Warfare. First thing we'll talk about is the sounds, next we'll talk about the animation, and then we'll talk about graphical fidelity last. But the sounds, they're just bad. The sounds are flat, sounds are pitiful, the sound localization and inclusion is inconsistent, because Modern Warfare had that problem as well, but it's not as bad as it is in this game. And yeah, just like the guns, the gun sounds are weak as well. And this comes from someone that really can't tell in the video game, or media in general has bad or good sound design or direction, but I can notice instantly in my own setup that yeah, these sounds not up to stuff, not good at all. The only guns that had got good sound and animations were the 1911. Everything else was either meh or bad, but 1911's animation and sound were good. So yeah, only one gun. When it comes to the animations in general, I feel like they should use more of their good work from Modern Warfare and port that over to this game. Now, while you may say that is lazy, Modern Warfare's animation and sound designs are brilliant, and it's quality work, and there's nothing wrong with using quality work over again. And the reason why I'm saying they should port some of these sounds and animations over, because they have 5 guns, literally carbon copies, in Black Ops Cold War in Modern Warfare. That is your XM4, which will be the M4 in Modern Warfare, your M16, again the M4, just 3-round burst, MP5, the Type, which is basically an Uzi, and the AK-47 and AK-74U. Those are guns that have great animations and sounds in Modern Warfare, and they should just port those over to this game because they're quality work, and there's nothing wrong with using quality work over again. And last thing we'll talk about is the graphical fidelity. When it comes to the textures look good, but there's weird stuff with the resolution. That's due to the game, instead of dropping frame rate for when they have performance issues, they drop the resolution. That's how the game ends up looking off or fuzzy and blurry at times. Because I was playing the game and sometimes like, man, the game just looks off. And when it comes to the textures, again, textures look good, but they do pop in. But that happens in Modern Warfare, but they do have some weird draw distances and things of that nature. So hopefully that's just it being an alpha and not everything's fully optimized, they'll clean that up in the full game, but you'll still have texture pop-ins, because you still have those in Modern Warfare. So that's not too surprising, but when it comes to the actual textures, they look good, but resolution is off at times. And now we can talk about the actual gameplay. Now, when it comes to the actual gameplay, first thing I need to point out is if you typically enjoy Call of Duty games, you will enjoy this game. If you typically dislike Call of Duty games, you will dislike this game. Now, when it comes to Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War, if you really love Modern Warfare, I mean, you're fully immersed in the tactical stuff, the mounting, the doors, you probably won't like this game, because they did take out mounting, they did take out doors. I don't have a problem with that, because I felt like those were negatives to gameplay. But if you really enjoyed that stuff and you really love that stuff, it's not in here, so you probably won't like this game as much, and you probably won't like this game at all compared to Modern Warfare. And if you're like just a really hardcore gun enthusiast, when it comes to sound design, weapon handling, and animations, you probably won't like this game either, because it is noticeably a step back. It is a downgrade. So let me point that out, because it's why I didn't like Modern Warfare at times. Its animations and its engine were great. That's a great foundation, and I'm kind of disappointed they didn't completely build off that. Like, I expect them to build off that and piggyback off that a lot more, due to it being a shortened dev cycle with the pandemic and all that, and them just having developer hell with the weird internal stuff they got going with Sledgehammer and other developers. But yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed. Another thing is I can talk about that they didn't piggyback off the engine was the sliding, because in the Black Ops 4 beta, we had the same problem with the slide being way too fast, way too sudden. You can get a lot of momentum with the slide very quickly, and it just leads to some weird gunfights, and it's like a guy teleports because he slid. so they have to adjust that. The Modern Warfare slide, it's not perfect with the whole slide canceling and things of that nature. When it comes to the actual distance and speed, it's in a good spot, and I felt like they should have just used that slide right there as a solid baseline. But nah, they went with the Black Ops 3 slide, because that's how fast it is. It literally feels like it's the Black Ops 3 EXO slide. So they have to adjust things to that. When it comes to the weapon balance, the AK-74U is still the best gun, but that was made apparent by the content creators that played the game earlier. So they'll just have to balance that out. When it comes to the other guns, I didn't see any that was just like overpowered. The Type was pretty good as an SMG. That was an AK-74U. When it comes to the ARs, I used all three of them. I like the Krieg 6 the most, but I enjoyed using all of them. But I feel like I had the most success with the Krieg 6. AK-47 is good as well, but they have to add in more recoil, or just add in a lot more visual recoil, because like there's none, and like that's like notorious a hard-hitting rifle, and you know it didn't have any visual recoil at all. I'm not expecting the guns to have actual recoil because it's Call of Duty, but they could make it more immersive, make the guns feel like they have more weight to them. And speaking of weight, when it comes to character movement, I'm hearing a lot of people describe it as clunky, and I just don't feel like that's the right word to describe it with, because the movement is off, like it does feel off. But I would use floaty, and you know, frictionless, and you know what else, light. That would be the way I would describe the movement system, because when you think of clunky, you think of heavy, cumbersome, and in the way. But your character is really light and really fast in this game, and you know you just feel floaty, feel like your character has no weight. And yeah, they just gotta, you know, adjust that, because like if you run track, you would know that when you're running, when you're sprinting, you're applying a lot of force when you're putting your toes into the ground, and you can feel your arms cutting through the wind as you sprint. So while you're still light, you're fast, but there's weight and force. It's like there's no weight, force, or traction with your character. You just feel really floaty, slidey. And yeah, they just gotta adjust that. Don't know how to do that. Maybe add some more dynamic camera stuff, so you know it looks like your characters, you know, have more head movement and things of that nature. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, like they gotta make it so your character is still fast, light, but they have weight and force to them. Because Modern Warfare did a really good job at that. What else can we talk about when it comes to gameplay? Yes, the spawns. The spawns weren't good. They weren't as bad as Modern Warfare's, but they just felt erratic at times. They felt really erratic at times, like I was just getting shot in the back. That could be to me not having that much map knowledge, but spawns felt really erratic and they would flip a lot. But they're a lot better than Modern Warfare's. Same with visibility. I mean, it's still bad, but it's not Modern Warfare bad, if you get what I'm saying. That's not saying much, really. So they just gotta improve that. When we talk about the maps, 66 multiplayer maps from Moscow, Satellite, and Miami. I thought Satellite was a good map. When it comes to Moscow and Miami, they're just The reason why Miami is like that is because it's just too spacious for 6v6. Like if that's a 10v10 map, it would play a lot better. Probably be a perfect map for 10v10. Moscow's just because you know the layout, and I just don't like how the chopper gunner streak is useless on Moscow and Miami compared to it being very good and effective on Satellite. One thing when it comes about the chopper gunner is that using it's like really loud and it like drowns out, you know, your party audio, so that's kind of annoying. You also have other little glitches, like when it comes to you changing your graphic settings with motion blur, it resets every game. And they have weird stuff, like when you load into a game in progress, you'll see like all this HUD during the loading screen. So that's just stuff that'll get cleaned up, because you know it's just an alpha and like little bugs, doesn't really matter. But yeah, they had stuff like that. What else can we talk about? Skill-based matchmaking. Was it noticeable? Yeah, I know how to avoid it. Yeah, it wasn't as bad when I was playing with friends. They would have some good games, and they weren't saying things like, I just don't stand a chance of being completely destroyed. So that's a positive. When it comes to the netcode and latency, it was really bad in this game, really bad. And it's not due to the time to kill being a bit longer. It was just really bad at times. They gotta clean that up. Another positive I could mention is the time to kill being longer than Modern Warfare's, but not as long as the Black Ops 4, so it seems like they're not a good mix. So I like that, but they really got to clean up the latency, because it was really bad at times. So well, we went over latency, we went over skill-based matchmaking, we went over the maps. Last thing I'll talk about will be the combined arms maps. This just feels like a really sloppy version of Ground War. in Ground War it felt like a sloppy version of Conquest. And the problem with the Ground War maps, they just, well, oh, Combined Arms, my bad. They're just too spacious for 12v12. Like, again, if they had more players on these maps, they would play a lot better. They gotta do more balancing on the vehicles. And, you know, more balancing on the vehicles, bigger player count, and they have to add in a spawn system like they have in Ground War. Because without that spawn system, you just really end up spawning in the back of the map a lot. They did have some visibility issues when it comes to Armada's C flag, but everything else was just eh. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that out the way. Y'all stay safe. I will see you on the beta on October 8th, and I'm out.